Welcome to the Leo Wellness Podcast. I'm Eric, and with me today is our resident expert, Zay. We're going to be doing a deep dive into something pretty amazing, bee propolis.
Hi, everyone.
So if you're listening, I'm guessing you're as curious about bee propolis as I am.
Yeah, it's definitely been creating a buzz lately.
It really has, and for good reason. I mean, we're talking about something that goes way beyond honey. This stuff has been used for medicinal purposes for centuries, like literally centuries. The ancient Egyptians even used it in mummification.
It's amazing.
It really is. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back. Zay, can you give us the basics? What exactly is bee propolis?
Well, it's often called bee glue, and for good reason. It's this super sticky resinous substance that bees make. They mix their saliva and beeswax with sap and other botanical stuff they collect from plants and trees.
Okay, so not just honey. It's more like a super-powered concoction.
Right. Straight from the hive.
And, one of the things that really blew me away while I was prepping for this deep dive was the sheer variety of compounds found in propolis. Over 300. It's mind-blowing.
I know. It's like a tiny chemical factory packed into this little substance.
That's a great way to put it. A tiny chemical factory.
Yeah.
And that complexity, I'm guessing, is part of what makes propolis so fascinating and maybe even a little tricky to research.
Absolutely, because the exact composition can vary so much, depending on where the bees live and what kinds of plants they have access to.
Oh, that's interesting. So like European propolis might be completely different from, say, Brazilian propolis.
Exactly. It's like a fingerprint, unique to each hive and its environment. This makes research a bit challenging, but it also tells us just how adaptable bees are and how special propolis is, that you can get these unique properties from different regions.
That's so cool. So out of these hundreds of compounds, are there any superstars that really stand out? The ones that give propolis its amazing qualities?
Well, there are a few key players we can talk about. One group I'm sure you've heard of is flavonoids. They're powerful antioxidants found in plants.
Oh, right. Like in those colorful fruits and veggies we're always told to eat.
Yeah, exactly. They're known for fighting free radicals and reducing inflammation, and propolis is packed with them.
So bee propolis is basically a natural source of these potent flavonoids. Amazing.
It is, and those flavonoids play a major role in many of the health benefits we associate with propolis.
That makes sense. Now, besides flavonoids, are there any other compounds worth mentioning?
Another important group is phenolic acids. They also have those antioxidant and antimicrobial properties, much like how they protect the beehive from invaders.
Wow. So it's like a built-in defense system for the bees, and we get to benefit from that too.
It seems that way.
That is incredible. But I have to ask, with so many compounds working together, it must be difficult for researchers to figure out exactly what makes propolis so effective, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with hundreds of pieces. It's the synergy of all these components that creates the magic, so to speak. Researchers are still trying to understand the complex relationships between these compounds and how they all contribute to the health benefits of propolis.
It's pretty amazing to think about all that's going on in something so small.
It is.
So speaking of benefits, our research mentions a whole range of them. Fighting bacteria, viruses, even speeding up wound healing. It almost sounds too good to be true.
Well, propolis has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, and now there's growing scientific evidence to support a lot of those traditional uses. One of the most well-documented benefits is its antimicrobial activity. Propolis has been shown to be effective against a wide range of bacteria, viruses, and even fungi.
Wow. So it's like a triple threat against all those nasty bugs that can make us sick.
Exactly. Studies have even shown that propolis can inhibit the growth of certain bacteria, like Staphylococcus aureus, a common one that causes skin infections.
I've heard of that one.
It's also been found to be effective against some viruses, including the herpes simplex virus.
That's impressive. And what about wound healing? I've heard propolis can actually help speed that up. Is there any truth to that?
There is. Propolis has been shown to promote tissue regeneration and reduce inflammation, both really important for wound healing. Some studies have even found that propolis can be as effective as some conventional treatments for certain types of wounds.
Wow. That's remarkable. It seems like this bee product is like the ultimate multitasker in the world of natural remedies. But before we get carried away with all the amazing potential here, I think it's important to talk about potential side effects. Nothing's perfect, right?
True. While propolis is generally considered safe for most people, there are some things to be aware of. The most common concern is allergic reactions.
That makes sense.
Because, propolis comes from bee products, so it can trigger allergies in people who are sensitive to bee stings or honey. Yeah, it's definitely something to be cautious of. If you know you have a bee allergy, it's best to just steer clear of propolis altogether. But even if you don't, it's always a good idea to start slow with a small amount and see how your body reacts. You can do a patch test on your skin before trying anything else.
Good advice. So, besides allergies, any other potential downsides?
Well, some people might get a little skin irritation, redness or itching, especially if they have sensitive skin. In some cases, propolis can cause some digestive upset, but that's not as common.
Got it. So not entirely risk-free, but for most people, sounds like the benefits probably outweigh the potential drawbacks.
Right.
And speaking of benefits, let's get into how propolis can actually help us. You mentioned antimicrobial properties earlier. How does that translate to real-world applications?
One area where propolis shows a lot of promise is in oral health.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Studies suggest it can help fight plaque buildup and gingivitis, thanks to those antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. Some people even use propolis toothpaste or mouthwash.
Interesting. So it's like a natural way to boost your oral hygiene routine.
Exactly.
What about those claims that propolis can help with sore throats? I know people swear by those propolis lozenges.
Yeah, there's definitely some evidence for that too. Propolis can have a soothing effect on the throat, and its antimicrobial properties can help fight off infections that often cause sore throats.
Makes sense.
So those lozenges might actually be worth trying.
It's really amazing how something as simple as, a bee product can have such a wide range of uses. And from what I've read, research on propolis is like constantly evolving.
Mm.
Are there any newer areas of research that you find particularly interesting?
One area that I find really fascinating is the potential of propolis in cancer research.
Oh, wow. Right.
Yeah, it's still early days, but some studies suggest that certain compounds in propolis, particularly CP, might have anti-tumor properties.
Hold on. Are we saying that propolis could potentially play a role in cancer prevention or even treatment?
I mean, it's way too early to say for sure, but those early findings, pretty promising. More research is definitely needed to understand exactly how these compounds work and if they're effective in humans, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
It's incredible to think about. It seems like every time we peel back another layer of this bee propolis mystery, we find even more possibilities.
Absolutely.
For our listeners who are ready to try propolis for themselves, what are some of the ways they can incorporate it into their lives?
Well, the good news is there's a huge variety of propolis products available these days. Tinctures are popular. You can add a few drops to water or juice.
Easy.
Capsules are a convenient way to get a concentrated dose. And then there are topical applications like creams, ointments, and salves. Great for skin conditions.
So many options. From internal support to topical applications, there really seems to be a propolis option for everyone. It's pretty versatile.
It is.
But with all these choices, it might be overwhelming for someone just starting out. Any advice on choosing the right propolis product?
Well, the best approach is to think about your own needs and preferences. If you're looking for immune support, capsules or tinctures might be a good choice. For skin issues, a topical cream or ointment would make more sense. And of course, if you're dealing with a sore throat, well, those propolis lozenges we talked about might be just what you need.
So it's really about finding what works best for you.
Exactly.
And as with any new supplement or remedy, start slow and see how your body responds.
Always a good idea.
Zay, before we move on, I wanted to circle back to something we talked about earlier, the fact that propolis can be so different depending on where it comes from. Does that play a role in choosing a product?
It can. Different types of propolis have slightly different compositions and may have varying levels of certain compounds. For example, green propolis from Brazil is known for its high levels of artapilin C, a compound with really potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. So yeah, if you're looking for specific benefits, you might want to consider where your propolis comes from.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
So it's worth doing a little research before you just grab any propolis product.
Yeah.
Figure out where it comes from and what makes it unique.
Yeah, exactly. Propolis is a gift from nature. And like any gift, it's worth understanding, appreciating all those little details. The more we understand about this incredible substance, the better we can use it to improve our well-being.
So well said. This deep dive into bee propolis has been incredibly eye-opening. I'm sure our listeners are buzzing with new knowledge and excited to explore this natural wonder. It really does feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what propolis can do. It's amazing to think about, It's something bees use to actually build and protect their hives can have such a huge impact on our well-being.
I know, it's pretty remarkable. It really shows how connected we are to nature and all the things we can learn from it. I mean, bees have been using propolis for like forever, and we're just starting to understand how powerful it is.
It makes you wonder, right? What other secrets are hiding in that hive? So, for all of our listeners out there who are excited to try propolis, what are some things they should keep in mind? We talked about allergies, but are there any other precautions?
Well, like with any supplement, it's always best to check with your doctor first, before adding propolis to your routine, especially if you have any existing health conditions or if you're taking medications.
That's always good advice. Better safe than
Yeah,
sorry. Right.
exactly.
And when it comes to choosing a product, quality matters.
Oh, absolutely. You want to look for brands that are, reputable, that use high quality propolis
Nice.
and good manufacturing practices. And you might also want to think about the source of the propolis. Like we talked about, propolis from different regions can have, slightly different properties.
So it's worth doing your research. Finding a product that meets your needs.
Yeah, it's all about being informed, so you can make the best choices for your health and wellness. And who knows, maybe with more research, we'll uncover even more amazing things about this bee-created wonder.
This has been a fantastic deep dive, Zay. Really eye-opening. I think our listeners are walking away with a lot of information about the world of propolis.
I hope so. It's been a pleasure sharing my insights.
And a huge thank you to you, Zay, for all of your expertise. To everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this journey into the hive. Stay curious and keep exploring. There's always more to learn.